March 29, 1979, the worst nuclear disaster in U.S. history occurred at the 3 Mile Island power plant in Pennsylvania. A partial meltdown of the core in Reactor 2 resulted from a combination of a stuck valve and human error. Under normal conditions, the fuel rods in the reactor are covered with water, which circulates and keeps them cool. During the accident, a valve stuck open, allowing water to escape from the vessel. The water, which was contaminated with radioactivity, was pumped to an adjoining building, and it was during this process that some radioactivity was released into the atmosphere. The reactor operators misinterpreted their instrument readings and thought the reactor had too much water, so they shut off the emergency cooling water. The heat from the core boiled off more of the water, and the core began to melt. About 1/2 to 1/3 of it melted before the operators realized what had happened and resumed the flow of emergency water. The hot metal in the fuel rods reacted with the water, producing hydrogen gas, which prevented the water from being pushed back into the vessel. The danger was that the bubble of radioactive hydrogen gas could explode, causing a greater release of radiation. Officials made plans for a possible evacuation.
If the word would come, we are prepared to go. As of about 2 days ago, we're prepared to go.
Pennsylvania Governor Richard Thornburg advised the evacuation of pregnant women and young children living within 5 miles of 3 Mile Island. Schools were closed, and young children without relatives to stay with in other areas were taken to a sports stadium in nearby Hershey. In the event of a full evacuation, this stadium would house the evacuees. President Carter, who holds a postgraduate degree in nuclear physics, toured the accident site. His goal was to get detailed information firsthand, as well as show his support for the local residents.
To the people who live around the 3 Mile Island plant, that if it does become necessary, your governor, Governor Thornburg, will ask you and others in this area to take appropriate action to ensure your safety. If he does, I want to urge that these instructions be carried out calmly and exactly as they have been in the past few days.
An evacuation was never needed. Eventually, the hydrogen gas bubble was dissipated and the rods were covered with water again. The crisis passed. The gases that ended up leaking into the atmosphere were almost entirely chemically inert and not retained within the human body. However, while the released radiation was minor, the accident was considered major because a total core meltdown became a real possibility. A meltdown could occur if a steam explosion ruptured the 4-foot-thick walls of the containment building, or if the molten core burned through the concrete base and deep into the earth. If this containment failure occurred, then the radiation could contaminate a 30-mile radius area. Because of the accident at 3 Mile Island, the public realized that a serious nuclear plant accident was in the realm of possibility, and the debate over nuclear energy was intensified. These concerns were brought to the forefront of public attention because of the accident on March 29, 1979 at 3 Mile Island.